These are the Sunday recommendations for my free email list for July the 17th, 2022. The blog post this week is part 8 of my timeline for 1900 to 2021. It covers 1970 to 1979. It is the 8th in a series of 12 posts. The pitch. If you want to change the world, you have to know what's happening and the ideas behind those events. The request. Tell me if you see errors or omissions. This will come out as a book of 100 pages or so at the end of the summer. There are more details in the first blog post in the timeline series, which you can find on my website. Second recommendation. Utzon's Sydney Opera House, completed in 1973. In 1957, Utzon's design for Sydney's first major music venue was rescued from the competition's reject pile by Eero Saarinen, who soon afterward was commissioned to create the TWA Flight Center at JFK, which I recommended last week. Utzon proposed 2 main halls facing the harbor, one for symphony, choir, and pop music, the other for opera and dance. Each hall is topped by sail-shaped interlocking concrete panels that make the roof flow into the walls, so no interior columns are necessary, even though the tallest shell is 213 feet high, 65 meters. Fascinating tidbits. The shells are all segments of a sphere, so that despite their differing sizes, all could be cast from a common mold on the site. And also, the temperature inside the opera house is controlled by seawater running in 21 miles of pipes. Third recommendation, Superman, 1978. Watergate, the fall of Saigon, terrorist bombings and kidnappings, environmentalist panic, bankruptcy in New York City. The 1970s were a tough decade. When Superman flies in to save the day in the first movie of the series, I can understand why the on-screen crowd and the theater audiences applauded with joy. Superman's box office success led to a flood of superhero movies, although today few of their heroes would say that they were fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. At the risk of sounding like an old fogey, most of the rest of the dialogue is also better than in recent superhero movies. Facts I didn't know when I saw this movie in the theater in 1978. The script is credited to Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather, 1969, and also wrote the script for the movie based on it, 1972. Superman's father is played by Marlon Brando, one of the stars of The Godfather. The magnificently heroic score, I can't imagine this movie without it, is by John Williams, who had by then written the scores for The Poseidon Adventure, 1972, Jaws, 74, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 77, and Star Wars, also 1977. The special effects, which look a bit cheesy by today's standards, won an Academy Award for visual effects. And finally, the Daily Planets building is the headquarters, the former headquarters, of the Daily News on East 42nd Street, one of the first large Art Deco buildings constructed in New York City. It was designed by Raymond Hood, who was involved in Rockefeller Center. The fourth recommendation this week is a couple segments of a TV show from the 1970s. DianeDuranteWriter.com has hundreds of posts on sculpture, painting, architecture, and my other obsessions. To join the free Sunday recommendations email list, visit the URL that's on the screen or email me. And you can say, "Well done, Diane," or support my work and receive rewards by means of the tip jar on DianeDuranteWriter.com. As always, thank you for listening.